I enjoyed doing the persuasion speech. It was probably my favorite speech thus far. And in terms of being on camera, I felt far more comfortable doing the persuasion speech than I did the original Any Old Bag speech. In terms of the purpose of the speech, it was to create a persuasive argument to convince the viewer of a viewpoint and to persuade them to do something, which was the reason for the call to action at the end of the speech. It also required the employment of logos, pathos, and ethos to help support that argument, which I thought made the speech very interesting and effective. In terms of how I felt going into the speech presentation, again, as I noted in my introduction, I like this speech, so I felt pretty good about it. And the outline that's been provided to the class, I think, really helps to increase my comfort level because it gives me a real sense of the speech and what it will look like prior to giving it. My speaker anxiety is always high at the beginning of any speech, but it quickly tapered off. And I'm finding as I do more on-camera speeches, that anxiety is getting to be more and more easy to deal with. My technology was adequately prepared. I had kind of made a homemade tripod and stand for the camera this time, which made it easier. In terms of structure and organization, the entire speech is speech structure that we use is starting to feel better. However, the look back and look forward on each of the arguments, again, seems a little strange to me, particularly since the speeches are so short. I'm reminding somebody of something they just heard, but nonetheless, it's becoming more comfortable and easier to do. In terms of the audience, I designed this speech specifically for the class in mind. The average age of this class are the people who the research shows care about climate change and are willing to do something about it. And so I chose this speech and the topic, to zero in specifically on the class. In terms of the speech, most of it worked, in my opinion. The thing that didn't quite work for me was the note cards. I put up anywhere from 45 to 50 words per card, and I found myself constantly being drawn to the note cards or the note card. Even when I knew what was coming next, I came to rely on the note card, and I would look down at it, which would take me off a camera and felt a little unnatural to me. So I think in my next speech, I'll continue to use note cards if we're allowed to, but I'll use fewer words. In terms of the learned experiences to the class reading and concepts, on page 125, it talks about the organizational structure of a persuasive speech, and I followed that in my speech. The organizational structure I used was problem, cause, solution, and that's how I modeled my speech. So again, I thought the speech went well. It was fun, interesting to do, and I look forward to the next speech. Thank you.